Hey, it's the nerdy sports fan. It's the NFL offseason, where hope springs eternal. And we're talking Philadelphia Eagles. They had themselves a Super Bowl hangover. All right? They let the Super Bowl savior, Mr. Nick Foles, go. Carson Wentz had his best season as a pro. But has he done enough to really silence the doubters that erected that statue of Nick Foles? The O-line needs improvement. All right, they had injuries to deal with. They got age to deal with. Re-signed and locked up the right tackle. Great job. Jason Peters is hitting the open market as a left tackle. Look, the man's done great things for the Eagles over the years. As a Bills fan, I remember how good he was for us. So, yeah. It's time to move on. All right, he's old. He gets hurt all the time. They need to protect Wentz. All right, he runs around way too much, way too aggressively. You can't have him taking extra shots because the left tackle is hurt and his backup doesn't know what the hell he's doing. So that needs to be their focus. $38.5 million in cap space isn't going to do a damn thing with it in free agency, though, because what do you got otherwise in left tackle? Whitworth, he's older. You know, you're going to have problems with him, too. So you need to draft your tackle. And where they're at, they could probably swing a trade to move into position to get him. So they're not going to get the top tackle, you know, but there's 3 or 4 guys, you know, in the top 15 that really should work well and be an upgrade to what Philadelphia's had. So I think that'll be a focus for them. Wide receiver was a huge problem. Age and injuries destroyed this unit. Okay? Nelson Aguilar is not a number 1 wide receiver. That was supposed to be between Alshon Jeffrey and Deshaun Jackson. Both of them were hurt most of the year. So, yeah, Zach Ertz, he got a lot of targets and a lot of receptions. Dallas Goedert got better. And he's really going to be pushing Ertz for that number 1 role at tight end. Because he's a bigger bodied guy. But, man, do they need offensive talent on the outside. Sanders is going to develop well. So you got the running back situation shored up. You need a left tackle. You need wideouts. Wide receiver is deep in this draft, okay? So do not get enamored with the wide receivers, please. Pick up the best left tackle you can in the draft. Then get the best receiver available to you. Trade around to make sure you're not overdrafting somebody. That's the best advice I have for this team. Because that $38 million in cap space, that doesn't go a long ways in this league, okay? You can piss that away in a couple of signings. So there will be some fresh faces in Philly. There will be. I hope, for the sake of the Philly faithful, that the focus is building from the draft. This team not only needs to get back to the promised land of the Super Bowl, but they need to give themselves a roster that's capable of continuing to stay in the playoffs and in contention. The best way to do that is to accurately draft talented players that fit with what you do as a team and keep them. Re-signing your own players usually ends up being cheaper than signing somebody else's players that needed to see how green the grass was on the other side. So building through the draft is the only sensible way to build a long-term contender. Philly needs to focus on that. They got the right coach, and I think they do have the right quarterback in Carson Wentz. There's still plenty of people in Philly that have questions there, and you're right too. He wasn't the one that won the Super Bowl for you, but he put 4,000 plus yards up through the air, and was that a Philly record? I want to say it was. And this is a team that had Donovan McNabb and had Ron Jaworski at quarterback. Not chumps. So when you're setting passing records for a team that has had good quarterbacks in the past, that matters. All right? And it's not like he did it like Jameis Winston put up his numbers, where he's just, throwing it to the other team just as frequently as he's throwing it to his own. No, he wasn't making those mistakes. He was dealing with crap talent on the outside. If Wentz had Deshaun Jackson and Alshon Jeffrey at least most of the year, this team goes to the playoffs. Probably does some damage in the playoffs too. So they're not too far off. So the lack of cap space doesn't scare me so much. You got to put some spackle on the holes in the wall on that offensive line. You fix that left tackle spot. You get a good receiving target that's not going to get hurt for the entire year. This team's, for the most part, fixed. So, you're really worried now about what Dallas is doing? They finally got rid of the clapper that was giving you guys wins all those years. They replaced him with a big boy coach and Mike McCarthy. Who knows what they're going to do there? Who knows what that does for Dak Prescott? Who knows if they're going to keep Dak Prescott? The Giants seem to be doing good things too. Daniel Jones looks like he might be an actual quarterback. So the division's not exactly going to be ripe for the taking the next few years. So you got to get into that win now mindset. Fix the two positions you got to fix. And go out there and win the damn thing again. This team's capable. The coach is capable. The players are capable. Now you just got to show it to the fans that have bought the tickets to pay your damn paychecks. That's what I have for you guys. All right? There's a lot of free agency that's got to come up. There's a lot of draft that's got to come up. There's not a lot of players leaving that you really got to worry about in Philly land, okay? You're losing Jason Peters, sure, but he's been a problem. Much more than he's been a solution. So don't worry about that. Only guy you got to worry about on this team keeping happy is Fletcher Cox, okay? That guy is the heart and soul of this team. You make sure to surround him with a team that deserves him, all right? Like and subscribe if you enjoy the content. Hit me up in the comments. I want to know what you think of what Philly needs to do this offseason to make it a viable, worthwhile offseason from your perspective. I don't care what the Philly coaches and front office say. I want to know what the fans think. Because it's my personal belief that the fans know just as much as the people getting paid to do this. And those guys are just better at wearing suits and faking it. So tell me what you think the team should do with the cap space. Tell me what you think the targets should be in the draft, what the targets should be in free agency. Inquiring minds want to know. Let's keep this conversation going so we can talk shit about what the Eagles actually do later on in free agency in the draft, because I know you guys love to boo what they do. All right? Really enjoy that you guys are watching. Really appreciate it. We'll see you next time.